Honestly, Jordan, I can't stand when people who don't have kids feel like they have a say in how parents should raise their children. It's one thing to have an opinion, sure, but unless you've actually been in the trenches, you have no clue what it's like. You can't understand the pressure or the exhaustion. It's a whole different world. I get that parenting is tough, Jared. But just because someone doesn't have kids doesn't mean they can't have valuable insights. People without kids might have clearer, less emotionally charged perspectives. And let's not forget, they're not influenced by the pressures of social expectations or the biological instinct to protect the child at all costs. You don't get it. You can't possibly understand what it takes to be responsible for a tiny human being 24/7 until you've had one. It's not just about perspective, it's about real experience. How can you give advice on something you've never done? That's exactly the point. Having kids doesn't automatically make you a parenting expert. You're clouded by your own personal biases and emotions because you're personally invested. It's like asking a chef who only ever eats at home to give a critique on a five-star restaurant. People without kids can look at it more objectively. Oh, please. That's the problem with people who've never had kids. They think they know better. They're sitting in the bleachers telling the players how to do their job. Well, maybe those bleachers are where the best insights come from. You're too emotionally attached to see the big picture. Parents get so defensive because they're too wrapped up in the moment. I think the people on the sidelines might have a more unbiased perspective. It's not about being emotionally attached. It's about being responsible. The minute you become responsible for another life, everything changes. You can't compare your perspective to someone who's never had that experience. Hey, you two. I couldn't help but overhear the conversation. It sounds like you are having a bit of a clash. Oh, don't get me started. This guy thinks that people without kids have a better understanding of parenting than those who are actually doing it. I'm just saying that people without kids can offer a different, less emotionally charged perspective on parenting. I get it. And it sounds like both of you are making valid points, but you're stuck in a bit of a dichotomy, right? It's either only parents have valid opinions, or only people without kids have the clearest perspective. Have you ever heard of DBT's middle path? The middle path? What's that? The middle path in DBT encourages balance. It's about finding a middle ground between two extremes. In this case, it's about recognizing that both parents and non-parents can contribute valuable perspectives without dismissing each other's experiences. For example, both experience has value. Parents have lived in the reality, and non-parents can often see things more objectively. So the trick is acknowledging both sides while also being open to learning from each other. So you're saying I don't have to be a parent to offer a meaningful perspective? Exactly. What's important is the ability to communicate openly, without invalidating anyone's experience. In DBT, we challenge cognitive distortions like all or nothing thinking. You're both arguing that the other is completely wrong, which makes it harder to find common ground. So you're saying I should just let go of my opinion because someone without kids might have a point? Not at all. Your opinion is valid, and your experiences as a parent are incredibly important. At the same time, it's important to stay open-minded and listen to what others have to offer, even if they come from a different place. When we're defensive or rigid, it often leads to misunderstandings and keeps us stuck in conflict. So, instead of shutting each other down, we should try to find the value in both perspectives? Exactly. And using nonviolent communication skills, we can express our feelings and needs without attacking the other person. For instance, Jared, when you say you don't get it, that could be reframed to, I feel frustrated because I'm so emotionally invested in my child's well-being, and I need understanding for the challenges I face as a parent. It's about speaking from your own experience rather than assuming someone else's stance is wrong. Okay, that makes sense. I guess I'm just really worried that people without kids don't fully understand what I go through. And I understand that, Jared. I'm not trying to take away from your experience. I just think we all have insights to offer, whether or not we're parents. And I'm open to hearing what you have to say, too. Yes! The middle path helps us move away from either-or thinking and toward both-and. It's about balancing personal experience with empathy and respect for others' viewpoints. I can see how that works. I don't have to dismiss Jordan's perspective just because they don't have kids, and I can appreciate where they're coming from without feeling like my experience is invalidated. And I can acknowledge the challenges of parenting without assuming I know everything. It's a lot harder than it seems. I love that. Middle path in action. You both don't have to agree, and you're finding common ground by recognizing each other's valid perspectives. Thanks, DBT Fairy. This is really personal to me, and I got very emotional, so I think I needed that reminder. Yeah, me too.